it's here. We're in the single cab, first drive, first reaction video. Let's get it. The roads are a little wet, just an FYI.
Just a little.
Just a little.
Just a little.
Gotta get around some of these S curves. That was like barely touching the throttle.
That's probably barely.
I believe all we're on is tune 3 at the moment. Which tune 3 should be right about 600 horsepower probably. Give or take some. Music to the ears, man.
It really is.
Barely any throttle. Need to let it kind of warm up before we do anything crazy. Guys, if I sound a little bit weird, I'm kind of fighting a cold. I feel like I sound more like a girl than I do a man. Did you just agree? I didn't ask for your opinion. This thing is wicked. All the fun we've had was off camera, unfortunately. I forgot I shut the camera off because I had to make a phone call. Well, yeah, sorry guys.
Don't worry, he parted my hair.
I parted your hair?
Yeah, you parted.
Or poured your hair?
Both.
I didn't pour your hair. I may have parted the hair.
Parted. You parted something?
That Jake break. Feel that? Not really Jake break, but it sure feels like one. It literally would just seat you.
Grief.
Fourth gear.
Can we go back and pick up my head? I think we lost
Pulls
it.
hard. Pulls really hard. Every time I let off the throttle, it's tough. Listen.
Yeah.
It literally will take you forward.
Yeah, it takes you forward. Feels like you're pushing the brake.
For any of you wondering, it is a Danville 68mm turbo, and the turbo brake definitely works. Works very, very well. Actually, I'm very surprised at how well it works. Being with the setup that we have and all, which we're gonna go over here in just a little bit, but it definitely works. Sounds flawless. Sounds really, really good, actually.
Very, very smooth.
third, fourth, and fifth.
I felt it.
That's only 2 and 3. The roads are a little bit damp, which obviously is helping him spin so easily. But if that's only 2 and 3, what is 4 and 5 going to do?
That's gonna take our breath.
Four-wheel drive launching is gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
Now, for granted, guys, a lot of you's probably gonna inform me in the comments, but I already know we are keeping a stock bottom end on this LBZ. Obviously, I know my risks. I know the potential of it blowing up. I know that the pistons are probably going to give away their ghost eventually, or it is going to be the crank. It's going to be one or the other. Shoot, I may bend a rod, but I don't think it'll be the rod. But I don't know my risks on running a stock bottom end with the horsepower that we are pushing. Currently, I'm going to say it'll be right about 750, 780, give or take some. That's what I had my tuner tune it for. Obviously, we haven't had it on a dyno yet, so I don't know my exact numbers. I just kind of know the area of what we talked about. So, pushing those numbers, obviously, is going to be quite a bit amount of torque as well. So, I'm high on everything for a stock bottom motor, and I understand that. So sooner or later, the whole entire engine will have to be replaced with a fully built one. But until then, we're going to enjoy the principle of what this motor actually has to offer for being stock. And currently, the same exact setup, minus the injectors and minus the pump on this build, and the turbo is the same exact the way I'm running my black truck. So I know the risks. I'm willing to take them, and when the time comes for the ghost to come out of them, then we'll slap a new one in it, and we'll be set to go. So, until that moment comes in life, we're gonna enjoy it. And obviously, I'm easy on my trucks. I'm very easy on my trucks, but when I want to have fun with them, I go out and I have fun with them. So, I believe this single cab will be a good Corvette racer. I believe that it'll put some good ponies down, and I believe we'll keep up with some of the higher horsepower cars that are out there. I obviously already know what my black truck will do, and I'm pushing right about 675, 700 with my black truck. So this being a little bit more and being a single cab, I believe I'll be able to squeeze out a few more passes on some of the lighter weight vehicles and the higher horsepower cars. That was fifth gear. No hesitation. So let's talk a little bit about what we did. So when I purchased the truck, it already had 68. It already had a Danville 68 in it. And that's pretty much the only mod it had. Yes, it had all the piping, it had all the accessories done to it. It did already have a built transmission by Alligator Performance. And it already had a triple disc converter, which we're swapping that triple disc converter out with a Gold Red R converter. And then what else did it have? It had your typical EGR piping and, you know, all that kind of stuff. The biggest mod as far as air wise was the aftermarket turbo and the intake. But besides that, it was stock fuel, and then it had a stock fuel pump on it as well. So we swapped it over with 100 over S&S injectors, as well as a 12mm CP3 pump, and we combined those both with that 68mm to get the power that we're at. So now it's studded and gasketed, which I didn't probably have to do, but eventually those heads, the stock heads, probably would have lifted or stretched one. I wasn't willing to take the chance to find out, so we went ahead and knocked that out while we was there. It already have PPE headers on the truck. See if I'm forgetting anything. I don't believe I am. And obviously we have a 165 fast. So basically our big fuel and air mods is going to be the 100 overs, the 12mm CP3 pump, and then the 68mm Danville turbo, and then the 165 fast lift pump. So kind of gives us our advantage. We're doing more fuel, less air, obviously, with this setup versus my other truck. We are doing more air, less fuel. My black my black crew cab. It has a 65 millimeter Danville turbo, 45 overs injectors, and their Exergy Sportsman's lift pump. So it's pushing right about 675, 700. Depending on air density, you know, it kind of fluctuates a little bit as far as the turbo spooling. But sooner or later, guys, I hope to have this single cab on the dyno to get our exact numbers. And if the numbers aren't where I want them, then I'll contact my tuner and we'll up the numbers a little bit and we'll get this exactly dialed into where we want it to be. That is saying that the motor holds up to the 750, 780 horsepower to what we believe is in it right now. It's definitely putting down quite a bit of power on Tune 3. That makes me believe his numbers have got to be really close, which usually whenever he tunes my trucks, they're always almost dead on without having to change them on a dyno. So I believe that he's pretty precise on his tunes on what he flashed on here already. And we also went ahead and did a trans tune as well. So it's gonna be a fun beast.
Yes, it is. Gosh. That is ridiculous.
That is ridiculous. Second to third gear pulls so hard.
I'm not gonna lie, I think I beat myself a little bit. Just a little bit.
Pulls so hard.
Okay.
Pulled so good. And that was like second to third, that's it.
I'm ready to feel what fourth and fifth feel like.
That's to be continued. Alright, let's see what this pony will do on Tune 4. Automatic. Start off in second gear. Let's skip first. Okay, let's skip third.
I think I pooped.
Oh, that's so wicked. Let's go back down to 3. We need some dry roads for that tune. Dude, that was literally quarter throttle. I didn't even touch it hardly.
Just imagine what four-wheel drive would feel like.
We're gonna find out. Just not today. Too wet.
No.
I want to know exactly what it does.
Oh, it'll do.
We'll do some town hopping with that, baby. Time to put this thing back in the garage.
I want to ride into some.
traffic.
Hey, but already blew it up.
Dadgummit. I don't know. Stay tuned.